Okay, great, terrific. Well, thank you everyone for being here today. My name is Matt Eichmann. I'm here with KIS, and we have a partner in Verkada to speak with you about their technology. So I'm not sure if you are familiar with KIS. If you're not, we've been in business since 1988. We're formed like a CPA or law firm with practice areas. The practice areas are led by consultants. The consultants have engineers that work for them. So it allows each of the consultants to be subject matter experts in the technology verticals that they cover. Verticals include physical security, which would include our partnership with Verkada, network security, so things for pen testing, vulnerability assessments, remediation events. Hopefully you won't have to engage us in that kind of situation. Also infrastructure on those. We have data center services, so business continuity, disaster recovery types of solutions. Project management for Active Directory upgrades, for instance, movement of sites, whatever the case may be. And I'm missing, for some reason I think I'm missing one of those. But, so we also do product sales besides the consulting services. So partner with many of the manufacturers that you have become familiar with, you know, the Dell's, HP's of the world, Verkada, some technologies that you may not be familiar with. So we can provide a full suite. You can engage us from either a services standpoint, engage us from a product standpoint. We don't build anything, right? We're here to go make sure that what you guys are looking for from a business need, from a support of the business, bringing those technologies to you, or the services to integrate those technologies into the organization, right? So we fit into what your guys' needs are. We're not here to go dictate what it is that you should or shouldn't be doing. Questions or comments on any of that? You can ask later if something comes up.
You were so clear.
With regards to Verkada, right, it's a solution, or it's a platform, a solution set. So we leverage Verkada here ourselves, right? So we talked about today's kind of the hidden security elements of the environment. So this is our event center. On the other side of this wall is the functional side of KIS, where we sit and contact you guys and have our meetings and things of that nature. So we get people coming in, random access. You can see we have Verkada cameras in here. We got the access points, a couple dots. We do the cabling on those things. We'll put them in. As you enter a building, right, we have the access control as well. We leverage some of the that door has it. As you head over from what we call the event center to our physical office, right? If we wanted to close that off, we could. So just employees would be able to use it. We have our Verkada Pass, right? It's on the phone. It's tied in with the Active Directory, so it knows who I am. From an employee lifecycle standpoint, knowing who's in there, who's not in there, onboarding, offboarding, right? Very easy to give somebody access.
How do you get access with that app? Is there some sort of process?
Sure. Go to the Apple Store or Google Play, right? You download it. The administrator will give you 2, 3, 4 instructions that you'll fill in on here.
And when I approach the door, what does that do for me?
Well, there'll be a proximity piece on this. It'll recognize whether I have the phone on and the app open, or I simply have it off. I can actually go to the door. It senses the app on that piece. It'll unlock the door. The door has been electrified. We're able to do that work as well. So for things in and around employees, hey, you want to know, depending on how Orwellian the organization is, right? Maybe they want to know what employees are entering. But we have folks coming in who are not part of the organization, UPS, FedEx, things of that nature. So as they'll approach, say, the back door where the drop-offs, we have cameras out there. We can buzz them in. We can see who's there. They'll hit our own intercom, which is another Verkada product, camera, mic, speaker, all those kind of things, where they'll ring the bell, right? We can see who they are. We see it's FedEx. We can buzz them in remotely and allow them in on those kind of pieces. The camera obviously is going to sense, who's there. We can even set the cameras up to a point where you enter a certain zone. We can get alarmed by those types of pieces. If you want to do a walk on the outside of the building after this done, you can see the different kind of cameras we have up, bullets, PTZs.
What is PTZ?
Pan, tilt, zoom. So the camera itself will move as you need to go view a particular area. So some of the technologies that you're able to use in your environment, not only for employee safety, organizational safety, random people coming in, DoorDash people, whatever the case may be. So the details of which we'll go into
That was really good.
on the specificity.
It's a customer over here.
Yeah, I was just not gonna let him get away with it.
Yeah.
So you're really here to hear what Verkada has to say, so I'll wrap that piece up. Any questions of myself, some of the other KIS folks around the room, don't hesitate to ask, but we'll turn it over to Monty here.
Yeah, I'll step in really fast. So I'm Chris Tracy. I'm the channel manager, responsible for making sure that KIS has whatever it is they need to ensure that all of you are well taken care of and are receiving the best possible solution to whatever your needs might be. We've been partnered since 2019, a couple years after our inception. They are due to their sales, certifications, etc., they're a high-level partner with us. Have been, proven their excellence in terms of keeping customers happy, providing again the solutions that they're looking for. Very proud of the relationship that we built together. We're just a manufacturer. Nothing works without a qualified partner like KIS. So we're grateful to be here today to be able to speak to all of you, and thank you for KIS for having us. I'm going to turn it over to the brains of the operation, Bhakti.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Alright. Hey everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. My name is Bhakti Savani. I am a solutions engineer here at Verkada. I think this is great even for me to meet you all in person, have a face-to-face conversation. I'm going to show you what we do here at Verkada and also show you the power of our platform. Little bit about me. I have a background of computer networks. I used to work at Cisco Meraki for about 7 years before I started here at Verkada. Fun fact, the founder of Meraki was Hans Robertson, and he sold the Meraki company to Cisco, and then he moved to Verkada and founded Verkada in 2016. So yeah, this is what the goal we had in mind is to provide an integrated solution to allow our customers to have all the buildings and all the products on a single pane of glass was something our priority getting started with. And all of our employees, we have single mission. We want to protect the people, we want to protect the places. And just a little bit update about where we are at now. We have about 30,000 customers, more than that actually. And we have global partners just like KIS. We are a team of 2,100 right now. We are globally expanding a lot. This really also allows us to have a technical support team that goes around the clock. Kind of moving on to the meat of the topic today. So we're going to talk about entryway security. So entryway security in general, that's like a very crucial point. That's where it's sort of like a single, defense point, right? This is a very critical entry point. We decide who gets inside the building or who is not allowed into the building. Unfortunately, like today's age and time, what we see and hear in the news is all the schools, news about them, right? We want to make sure all the kids are protected. We hear a lot of news about mass layoffs, where there is a ex-employee trying to get into the building, right? And all these people do not have like a label. We are not able to tell from their face who they are. So we want to make sure that our front desk team has right tools and features and products where they are able to identify them. Now, on the other side, there are employees, right? We want to make sure the employee have a smooth experience. They are able to get in and out of the building. They have enough options to use their credentials. Now, in terms of like combination of this traffic, we want to make sure there are cameras around the building where we are able to identify this different type of traffic. So this is where we come into the picture, right? The combination of our products such as intercom, access control, our visitor guest management system and cameras, we are able to do that for you guys. So how does it work, right? First thing is when you are expecting a visitor to come on your site, intercom is sort of the first line of defense. This is where the front desk team is able to see who is trying to get inside the building, and if they are not sure, there is a two-way top-down option, so you can ask questions to them, make sure they are the right person before kind of letting them in. There is also like features like person of interest, so even before you let them in, the UI itself tells you that, hey, this is a person of interest, so that they can stop that person right there and then. Now, once they are in the building, things doesn't stop there, right? There is still, you can still perform a screening for your visitors. You can check their information against like several databases, like criminal records, watch list, sex offender list, or a deny list. Moving on to the employee side of things, the employee should have the best experience, right? Let's say if you are as forgetful as I am, you are going to forget your badge someday while going to work, right? If you give permissions to your employee to use their phones, they have that backup so they can get into the building. Even better, like hands-free option, you can allow them to open the gate of the parking garage using their license plate. So that gives you several options for all your employees to get into the building. Now for IT admins, you want to make sure that their life is easy as well. To assign a badge to the person or deactivate it, it should be as simple as it's a click of a button, or just use SCIM integration like Matt mentioned. With that, if you deactivate somebody's badge, it deactivates them on Verkada command as well. You're not hopping from one tool to another just to deactivate a badge of a single person. Any questions so far? Want to stop and see how the room is doing? Okay, perfect, thanks.
Did you say the intercoms can scan faces for the databases, or do they still have to scan their ID for criminal background checks?
So intercom is on the front where you don't have to present your ID, but your face, and if you have a database of the person of interest, that's something that you set up on command, you are able to identify them there. But they still have to get in at the front desk to present their ID. And we're going to have a demo later on, and I can show you how that works. And then next thing is, let's say we do need to find and identify any of this event, whether it was an employee trying to go into the building or it was a visitor that signed into your account. We have automated alerts. You can set up alerts for tailgating. So if somebody is tailgating, you can identify using alerts. You can get a notification on your app, or you can just use the web version.
Is everyone familiar with what tailgating is?
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have AI-powered search. So let's say the only information that you had about the person was somebody wearing an orange beanie. You can just look them up just using the AI-powered search. Also lockdown. So let's say there is a visitor and you were able to give them an entry, and then if they are having any sort of argument, unfortunately, with the front desk team, you can allow lockdown. You can give them an option to use a panic button to create a lockdown. So those tools really come in handy. And I think the beauty of it is all of them being able to integrate with each other and talk to each other. So for example, I spoke about license plate being used to allow entry for the employee. That's where it's camera and access control working together. Now, if you have a visitor, a frequent visitor, and you want to allow them access to certain part of the building, that's where our visitor guest management and access control work together. Let's say tailgating, that's where our camera and access control work together. So this is sort of the beauty of it.
Yeah, so if you had an access control system that wasn't integrated with a camera, all you'd know is who badged in, but you wouldn't have the contextual information from the camera showing that that person badged in, but they also let 3 people in behind them, right? And then, so there's so it's kind of a 1 + 1 = 3, where all the different sensors, I guess we even look at the camera as a sensor, all enhance one another and be able to give you a little more contextual information.
Yep. And jumping on to the demo. How many of you are familiar with this UI? That's good. So yeah, this is our Verkada command. We just call it command. It's just the web interface where you are able to see all of our products in a single pane of glass. Let's say if I want to see what products I have, it's just a click of a button and you can hop from one product to another. Talking about like entryway security, this is the first line of defense again. I always like to call our intercom as first line of defense. This is our intercom. And let's say if you have a building and a multiple entrances, you can see all of your intercoms in a single page. Let's look at one of them. So as Chris was saying, that giving a context, this is like our intercom camera, but there is a context camera on the top of the entrance where you can see who that person is from different angle. Really allows your front desk team to have the right tools to identify who is trying to get inside the building. They also have an option to unlock the door from the same UI. Let's look at some of the events. So this is where we store all the information. If there was somebody who was denied an entry, or they were admitted, or maybe they missed a call, all of those entries are here, and you are able to like go back in time to find if you were looking for a specific event. Now, we spoke a little bit about like the delivery side of things, right? So let's say we are looking for somebody who was trying to deliver a package, and we want to see how the conversation went with the delivery person and the front desk team. Using our AI transcript search, I can just type delivery, and it's going to show me all the events where the person was talking about delivery. It's doing its magic right now. Give it a second. So yeah, basically we record the entire transcript. It should, as you can see here, this person pressed the doorbell on the intercom. That gave a call to the person at the front desk, and looks like here the front desk is asking questions such as, hey, why are you here? The person is there for a delivery. And on our side, if somebody is trying to deliver a package, they do need to present their ID. So this front desk team is actually screening this person before they let them in. They are asking them that, hey, if you do not have an ID, you need to come back later. So as you can see, before they were let in, we did primary checks.
Quick question on that. So when you said that your people are looking to see if the requirement for the ID is satisfied, that's not something that customers need to do. That's just something that Verkada does at their headquarters.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Yes, this is a very customizable option. So if there is a guest type like delivery, you can decide what all things you need from them.
And when they push that button, you can set up what the call tree looks like. So maybe it's the front desk, and we're gonna call them or on their cell phone or at the front desk. And then over, let's say they don't answer after 5 seconds, and it goes to the next person and the next person until they have access to whoever they want. And command that you're seeing right now, you can access that through the web interface, but you also have an application on your phone. So this person could be walking around the building, doing whatever their functions are. Oh, hey, yep, there's someone at the front. Oh, yeah, I know Larry. He works for FedEx. He's here all the time. Great, no problem. Here, I'll open the door for you. While that person is meandering throughout the building, whatever they might be doing, can quickly let that person in.
Yeah. And you can have multiple people on it. So let's say maybe you have 2 representatives at the front desk. You can put both of their number, and whoever picks up the phone call, they admit the person in.
And will everyone in the string of people who can admit someone be notified that one of them has let the person in so that it's not hanging for the others?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So this is like a video phone call, so you can clearly see that that person is, you get like a full video context that this person looks like he just walked in, so maybe the other person, but yeah, you do get that.
Everyone's notified in that thing, so that you don't, no action is required.
Correct,
Okay.
yes. And
We
you
have Slack
video
and
context.
we have Slack and Teams integrations now too. So if we want to, we can actually send them to a Slack or a team individual or a group of individuals, etc.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next. So let's say this person was trying to deliver a package, now they are inside the building. This is where our visitor management comes into the picture. So what happens is that person is going to walk to the front desk and they are going to see an iPad right here that looks like this. So yeah, they get an option to choose from different guest type, whatever is relevant to them. So let's say they are there to do a delivery. So they're going to click on the delivery on the iPad, and then they're going to go through several check-in steps. Now those check-in steps is something decided by you and is totally customizable. They also have an option to use a QR code if they don't want to maybe touch the iPad and wants more like hands-free experience. And let's talk about what does a front desk team sees. So the receptionist view is what we see here right now. They can see different context camera. So if they are responsible for taking care of the front area of the building, we want to make sure that we give them not only access to the camera that's looking at the entrance, but the other point of view as well. They can also see who has signed in, they can see who has signed out. If somebody got denied entry, they can see that as well. Yeah, so let's say if I look at the logs from yesterday, I can see this person signed in as a contractor. So the receptionist has full idea of who that person was and what time they came in. On the right hand side here, you see like another camera view. It's actually a camera view of one of our gate. So on the same page, like on a single page, you see 3 different products from us. So this is all our cameras. This is our context camera that's attached to like an access control gate. And then this is on the guest management platform. Moving on to the IT admin side. So what does an IT admin see, right? IT admin is responsible for creating this type of guest. So if I go to the guest types, so this is all customizable. You can, if you get guests like for interview or for delivery, this is where you configure that. Here you can see what are the check-in steps. So let's say if we are talking about delivery, that person has to enter their phone number or email, and then they have to go through the security screening. So what they're going to do is they present their ID on the iPad, and that iPad, it's going to go through the background check. We check them against criminal records, sex offender list, watch list, deny list. If they match any of those descriptions, they get denied access right there. There's no badge that gets generated for them. It's done and done for them. And then they need to enter their full name before they take the badge photo. Now, if you have frequent visitors, your visitor doesn't have to go through this process every single time. You can pin some of the items here so that next time we don't ask for that information. We also have face pass. What that means is if that face was seen by the iPad before, it right away checks them in without them needing to add a lot of other information that we see here. Also, a lot of common use case we have is, let's say if you do expect different type of visitors. Let's say some of them are there for interview, some of them are contractors. You can also design their badge. Let's say you give color coding to, let's say red is for contractor, you can do blue for your delivery person. So that's just visually, it's easy for you to identify who they are. Now, in many organizations we have like events happening where you expect maybe 50 people coming to an event. You can also send an invitation from the same tool itself. It's not like you're going to another UI to invite other people. You can send this out. It will send out an email to the visitors one day before, where they have to go through pre-screening so that when they get on site next day, they're not waiting in the queue for longer time. It's pretty fast on the day of the event. Moving on to, just real quick. As I mentioned, like access control also integrate with our guest management. You can also decide which doors you want to allow. It doesn't have to be all of the doors. You can decide that this particular guest can only access this door, and just using the same platform, you can send them a text message with a link, and using that link, they can open the door. Moving on to our access control product. This is the landing page, and you can see all the doors that are currently being access controlled. And as you can see, there is a little clip here. This shows like the integration between our access control doors and the cameras. Moving to the user side of things, so this is where you see who are the users who can or cannot access your doors. And it's very easy to add and onboard users here. You can either add them one by one or bulk upload the CSV. Other option I spoke about earlier is like skip integration. So let's say if somebody got terminated from a company, you don't have to come back to command and terminate them. It automatically gets terminated here as well. You can also see what type of credential a specific user has. I know it's very tiny here, but let's say this is our employee Tony. He has mobile NFC, which means he can use his Apple Watch, just place it against the reader, or use his Apple Wallet. Remote unlock, which means you can remotely unlock. I think that's what Matt showed earlier. Or just use regular Bluetooth from your phone to unlock the door. You can also give them a key card, or they can also use a key code on Verkada's access reader with a code, and license plate, as we talked about earlier. So you can see what credentials a single user can have. Let's take a look at example. This is our office in our sales office. This is our door in our sales office. This is looking at outside the door, and this is on the inside. And just underneath you can see all the credentials being used by employee to open the door. So for example, Kyle here, he used a key card. And then you will see some other options as well. Yeah, this person used a web unlock. This person used their mobile NFC. As you can see, like if you click on it, it takes you to that footage where you can see he's trying to use his phone to open the door. Now on the same page, if you are looking for a specific event, I know we spoke about tailgating, so let's take a look at that. happens in tailgating is the camera picked up 2 faces, but only 1 badge was scanned. And we can, once we like open that video, we can actually see that action live. As you can see, only 1 person badged in, but 2 person entered the building. And let's look at one more event. Let's say door held open. It's a good thing it didn't happen in past 7 days. We can go maybe see if it happened in a month. Okay, it did. So let's say this person was trying to maybe open the door. The problem here is like without the camera context, what you're going to see is somebody's trying to badge in and you just see the event door held open, but we're going to see what actually happened. Looks like the person who badged in was not trying to leave the door open, but it just stayed open for some reason. So the context really gives you a good idea before you start to like investigate, right? Let's look at how does the LPR work. So this is one of our camera that's installed at the entrance of our garage. It's our bullet cameras, and as you can see, each of the employee here, they just have to like drive in up to the gate. The camera is going to pick up the license plate and it's going to open the door for them. And you can just also pull up a quick video to show how that looked like. Any questions so far on access control? Perfect. Last but not the least, our cameras. So I'm not taking a deeper dive into it, but we can just look at our AI features. So as I was mentioning earlier, let's say there was somebody and the only description that you have is them wearing an orange beanie. So you can just type person wearing orange beanie. I mean it's actually really hot, so maybe nobody's wearing a beanie, but we can maybe look for cap or hat. So what it's doing right now is searching all the footages and all the cameras, and as you can see we have a report now. And you can also filter it per camera, so you don't have to search on all of the cameras. You can just pick that I'm looking for a person wearing a hat on this camera. Use the same tool to create alert. So now every single time a person wearing hat is spotted, you will get a notification. Touching a little bit on alerts.
Can you also?
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, you can just search one camera or choose the group of cameras you want to have that search executed. And
Exactly.
can you also select a time frame, go back a month, go back a year? Or is this, yes, you can select a time frame? Or is it just for going forward?
I think you should be able to.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, this searches for cameras footage. So if you have a camera that has 30-day onboard storage, it goes back up to 30 days.
Okay.
But if you have camera that's 90 days, it goes back up to 90 days.
Camera dependent, but it will go back.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Will it look at the cloud storage as well?
Correct. Yes.
So we can go back beyond the length of cloud storage as well.
Correct. Yes. Because if you have a cloud backup, you still use the same tool to go back and find that footage on the cloud. It's the same tool, and this AI search happens on this same tool. So it goes back up to whatever the cloud backup is.
I got a couple points on that too. We built this, it's a natural language model, and you can not only search for things that exist, but things that don't exist. So for example, if you're if you have a construction zone, or, you know, there's something being built, you can say, who's not wearing their protective gear? Who doesn't have a safety helmet? Who doesn't have the orange vest, for OSHA compliance, right? Or, so you can look for things that are there as well as things that are not there. Another important point is that we train all of our AI on our own data. We don't have access to any customer data. As a matter of fact, you have to grant our support access to your system that's time limited. So everything is trained on all the data that we collect and create in-house.
Just one other quick point. So in 2019, that search feature simply didn't exist.
Yeah.
Right? So one of the great things about Verkada, and I will credit Brendan Haley for this statement, is one of Verkada reps, he says the worst this camera is ever going to perform is the first day that you install it. The reason it's saying that is because you keep your licensing in there, Verkada's constantly upgrading feature sets, right, on the software that runs in these cameras, and you have access to that. So a new feature comes out, like this AI search tool. You bought a camera in 2019, that same camera, assuming this hardware can support it, will now be able to run this tool, just like if you bought Verkada, a brand new Verkada camera today. So you are getting those regular and constant updates, so that the technology is going to continue to improve from its usability and capabilities for you, the users.
Thank you. And that's kind of the benefit of the hybrid cloud architecture that we have. It's, you know, similar to a Tesla. It'll auto update as new things come out. Like, we've got clients that will call us occasionally and say, "Oh, geez, I noticed it's doing this, and I didn't even know it was going to do that." And, you know, so, and we do have clients that have cameras from 2019 that have said, "Holy smokes, what is this AI search capability that we didn't know?" So when you buy the license for us, you get support and you get the continuous updates, which you can schedule on something that was for you. The data is encrypted at rest and in transit. So the security that we built into this has been is quite robust. We're not punching holes through your firewalls to get there. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, this is perfect. This actually reminds me of the latest feature, and I think that's my favorite feature so far. So let's see that in action. I'm going to use our Mailroom to basically show that feature. So Mailroom is also, we spoke about delivery a lot, right? So let's say you did receive a package. What happens after that, right? A person, let's say a Mailroom employee, they scan the package, and as soon as they scan it, using our Mailroom tool, what happens is they are going to add that person's name into the list. So you can see who is currently waiting to receive the package. You can see all their information, and you can also see the number of packages that they have. Now, there is a second tab called Picked Up, which shows the people who have already picked up their packages. Now, not to spy on your employees, but let's say there was somebody who said that my package was never picked up by me, maybe they forgot or whatever, right? What happens is when you open one of the camera, and if we look at people, let's say this is the person who we are trying to find out if they were in this Mailroom a day before or not. You pause the camera. Currently it's scanning objects, and as you can see, like this person, there's like a purple outline, and if I click on it, it's going to show me all other cameras and instances where this person was found in. As you can see, what time she entered, what time she exited the building, was she there on the previous day, or what was she doing basically, right? And this is our history player search. Yeah, so this is the newest feature that was just added. It wasn't like a new product. All of our camera supports it, and this is something we keep on working towards. So yeah, just to summarize, all of our products also scale very well. If you know that there is some other offices where you might want to expand, it's It's not like you are creating a different command account. All of them can exist on the same platform.
We do have the ability to segregate, so let's say you have multiple buildings and either, you want people to have access to one and not the other, or you want to separate the licensing out, maybe it's different P&Ls that they come out of, organization structures, we can actually separate that out by building, by grouping, there's a number of different ways, so we can scale to very, very large enterprises.
And that could be international too.
Yep.
So we have our London office here, our Mexico City, and it's just click of a button to onboard a list of cameras from that site. So yeah, that's pretty much. Any questions? We can just open room for the question and answers.
I have a question. So, what you've seen at this point, you guys, anyone envision this, right? Potential use cases in the environment that you're coming from now? And if so, any particular elements of this that you saw being useful to you? The access control, the camera, right? Following from any of those pieces? That's something that you guys, any of you see in your environments? In existing environments right now, you already have it.
Yeah, right.
Okay. What do you like about it, Sean?
The simplicity of it, we're getting user badging, more of the badging, which is good for schools. So, the ease of bringing guests in and then blocking them, since we are a school district. The tracking feature, and then we also use the big cameras and sensors, and so that's good for the kids to track that, and the adults, as we found out. All in all, the AI that's been introduced is extremely helpful, and it's very impressive and scary at the same time, because it does go so deep. But yeah, all in all, Santa Cruz City Schools is moving forward with more and more every semester, basically. So.
And I want to touch on the scary point, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, the way we built this was trying to be sensitive about personal information, right? Trying to be as sensitive to that as we could be. When we ship our systems, facial recognition is turned off. It's blurring. They basically blur the faces out. It's completely customizable and up to the client with what their comfort level is and what they want to track. We can do, let's say we've got persons of interest where we know we've had problems with particular people in the community around our buildings, harassing employees, or if you're a retail space, someone that we know has stolen from us a few times, we can just go and just alert off of, oh, hey, this person is, we're CVS, this person has stolen from us a handful of times. Oh, here this person comes walking down the street coming into the building, we can alert on that, right? We can even, if we wanted to, we lock the doors. For schools and other organizations, one click of the button can lock down every door in the building. And immediately. And that's really what can save lives. But we do everything we can to try to be as sensitive about privacy as we possibly can, given what we're trying to accomplish. And we give those tools to the clients to determine what works best with their comfort level.
So on the flip side of that, I have a farm group down in Central Valley who's leveraging Verkada solutions. So one of them is just product, right? They're putting cameras in what they call cold storage, right? So these are just 33 degrees, right? So a little fun fact, you didn't know this, fruit will stop ripening at 33 degrees, which is why it's packed there and why the trucks are traveling at that distance. So a lot of the city in those rooms where those are being cleaned out. So this particular organization has put cameras in the cold storage rooms for several reasons, right? One, they want to see what's in there, employees coming in, who's driving the forklift truck, right? Did they knock over the pallet? Right? Can they retrain those people? Everything, and then loading it onto the trucks, wherever they're delivering them to, right? They can see those processes, so there's a kind of a quality of service that they're delivering. One of the ancillary benefits that they found from this, and they've been building databases, they had, an employee who broke up with their I think it was a boyfriend, and the boyfriend was continuing to come to the facility and kind of harassing her, right? So got the photo, they uploaded the camera, right? Now the camera, if it sees that person, it is alerting staff to be able to go and security to go out to those folks. And with that particular individual, stop it. They had a few accidents in front of their facility, so county sheriff's department was saying, hey, what's going on there? Well, they have some of the bullet cameras in there as the trucks are coming in and loading fruits and stuff, so there's been an ancillary benefit for local law enforcement to go see some of those accidents and things of that nature. So in this case, building a database for saying, hey, we want to know who this individual is and these kind of information is actually useful for that organization. So what's the use case, right, for your organization? What fits for you? And the technology is flexible, from that standpoint.
I'll touch on one other important client thing for you guys too. They have a really large low-income housing customer. One of their sites was in Oakland. They had some issues going on outside the building. The facilities manager gets an alert on his phone, there's a fire has erupted and somebody or something happened to a transformer. The facilities person was able to wake up at 2:30 in the morning because he got an alert on his phone, pulled up the video, a bird flew into it and blew up the transformer. So we don't need to dispatch police, we just need fire to come out. No, there's no other major incidents. Whereas before this system, they probably would have had to dispatch police, they would have dispatched fire, that person would have had to get out of bed, go down to the site, been up all night with the police and fire, etc. Where in this instance, because it was all right there on the phone, oh, okay, no, looks like it was that poor bird had a rough day. No need for police, but yeah, please do send the fire department to come out and make sure that that's right.
So, sorry, I have one more story on that ancillary piece. So, we have this deployed at a ballpark, right? The community ballpark, because copper thieves were coming in. Well, the ballpark facility, they also have a site where they can rent out for weddings, birthday parties, blah, 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 things of that nature. One of the benefits for the park administrator is that he doesn't have to show up at the facility at 2 o'clock in the morning or 11 a.m. to go open, let people in, which often people lose key to this facility. So they've been actually installed the access control, electrified the doors, they got cameras on there. So if some of the renters have said for the wedding or whatever, oh geez, I can't lock the place up, I left the key, or instead of him driving from his home all the way down to the facility to let him in, he can go on the app on his phone and say, great, I can unlock the door for you. So for him, he's not having to get out of bed at 11 o'clock at night or 2 a.m. whatever on Saturday morning to help these folks. But little things like that on the technology, being able to leverage what's going on. Did they thrash the place? Did they not thrash the place? That's running out, whatever. But just a little life convenience for this particular individual has been a great benefit to him. So lots of different use cases. You always see these things coming up, but once you install it, you start using it, like a lot of technology, the people find other ways. And it's not always the IT folks, right? This person's not a technologist. The farm group I was talking about, the IT guy hasn't touched the system for like a year and a half because the people who are running the cold storage facility, they manage it. These are not IT people. They are good about packing fruit and delivering fruit, right? Their job is not to go look at the cameras from that standpoint, but they've learned how to work with the command interface and find great benefit from it.
Thank you. Yeah, ease of use is key, and ease of access support is key as well. The average response time on a support case, which is, by the way, the engineers at our headquarters here in San Mateo, who actually know everything about the products, it's roughly 20 seconds. So you'll speak to a live person, local here to the Bay Area, that actually works on engineering the products. So that's probably one of the things I'm most proud of after working for Cisco and some of the other large organizations out there, where customers would complain to me about how rough it is to use support. We actually encourage people, if like we'll send out trial gear if someone's interested in something, and encourage them, please open a support case, just so you can get a look and feel of what it's like to be able to work with them. You don't need to be certified, you don't need to be an IT specialist in many cases to be able to access them and resolve whatever problems you might have. Anything else, Bhakti?
Yeah, I think the most powerful tool that I think what everybody likes is the alerting. Not only you can set up different alerts, but you can also decide who gets that alert and when. So being able to schedule the alerts, let's say you care about this area and you want to get notified if somebody is trying to enter that area. You only get notification after hours. During the daytime, you don't want to get bombarded with 1,000 emails. You only care about those alerts after hours. So you can totally like do that customization as well. That's really like something we have seen works really well for a lot of people.
And while this is also, it is user friendly, but it does require a lot of expertise that KIS brings to the table. Where's the proper place to put these cameras? How do we make sure that the door strikes and everything? I mean, access control is pretty simple technology, but actually making it all work, doors can be a challenge sometimes. Electrifying doors, etc. And you know, how do we go out and make sure that it's the right people that know your environment and can help you determine, well, these are the problems you're having. Well, this is probably how we would go and architect that solution. That's something that we don't do, right? That's not us, this is KIS. We can't install it, they do a fantastic job. And the beauty of working with KIS is that, sometimes these require switches. There's network infrastructure that can be required. While the bandwidth usage is fairly low, but you need to have someone who understands the IT side of the house, can also do the cabling, the construction, all that sort of work, and it does require a significant level of expertise from our partners. And then configuring this to get it all set up in a way that works for you, and then it's pretty much hands off. You can check in with them on a quarterly basis and say, hey, here's kind of what I'm thinking, or could we tweak this or that? Then you can work with them to do those. And they do a good job of training clients so that they're as self-sufficient as they can possibly be. So again, this is just a tool. Without having the expertise that they bring to the table, it's not going to hit the same way. So
that's the part I touched on earlier about we don't make anything, we just try to make it work for you guys, right? So just a kind of typical engagement. Generally we start with a discussion, right? What are you trying to accomplish? What's your particular use case? Followed up by usually a site walk, right? Depending on looking at the organization, how many buildings, single building, doors involved, whatever the case may be. We're able to source the gear. We have our employees are it's all badged. You see the names through from that standpoint. If there are ancillary things that are necessary, the UPS to power these things, right? Besides the cable, like Chris had mentioned, switch. So we can make that simple for you, right? To be able to single source on that. The installation, once done, we try to make it look aesthetically pleasing, right? So not cables and things hanging out all over the place. Secure mounting. Typically, there'll be about a 2-hour post-installation training, broken into 2 1-hour sessions, right? Administrator training. Usually, you're finding specific kind of features that you can get into granularity on that. If you want to deep dive on a particular set of features, I think once you're able to get the basics on it, then molding it to how your business best consumes it is really kind of over time, you guys will figure that those pieces out. But we're available, it's not just here, drop it off, don't call us again. We want to be an active part of making that work for you. Faster it gets installed, faster you're using it, the better time to, I guess the marketing term on that is time to market, right? So that you guys are getting full use of the technology. Any questions or comments on any of that? Cool, there we go.
I've got some giveaway stuff if anyone wants anything, and then I think we'll have a little lunch, and we'd love to chat with any of you if you have questions or